Welcome to the Bliss View, where we talk about what's hot and what's not in the wedding industry. And what's not are momzillas. So we all have mothers, we all love them. Mother's Day just went by, but we're going to spend some time talking about the bride versus her mom, aka Momzilla. So let's jump right into it with some definite examples, because we know that, again, wedding days bring stresses and people are heightened, but we're talking about the extra when it's just like, really, lady, really. So I know you've got an example, Sarah. You've got an example, LaShayla. So let's jump right in. LaShayla, what's yours?
Mine is, so I had a bride. She brought in her mother and her future mother-in-law, and they were meeting for the first time while she was wedding dress shopping. So that was kind of awkward, just because when I went out to, introduce myself and kind of find out what she was looking for, there was already just tension that I could just feel, and I wasn't understanding like what was going on. So then when we kind of went in the dressing room, she was telling me like, my mom and my future mother-in-law are meeting for the first time. They kind of already got off on the wrong foot, so it was already awkward. And then each of the moms had their opinions on what the bride should wear or how she should look. Her mother thought that she should have precedence, of course, because she's the mother. Mm-hmm. And then the mother of the groom was thinking, I'm part of it too. So the mothers were kind of butting heads, and then it was unfortunate because they were kind of competing against each other, but not realizing that they were hurting the bride's feelings, because if I put the bride in something that her mother wanted, the mother of the groom was saying, negative things about that dress. Mm-hmm. And then when I would put her in the dresses that the groom's mother wanted, her mother was like, oh, you look fat, that doesn't look good on you. So it was just kind of like, I was standing there like, oh gosh, like what should I do? Like, yeah, it was.
So how did that end up? Like, did the bride just say, forget it, I'll come back another day? Did she choose?
Yeah, she kind of just decided that she was gonna come back with just her mom. And I was kind of, agreeing with that, because you don't want that to be the first meeting. That's kind of awkward. Yeah. And you don't want to bring, family drama and things like that when you're trying to make decisions for the wedding day. But yeah. It was rough.
All right, Sarah, what happened to you?
The mom and the bride are on completely different sides. The bride was as calm and carefree as you could get, and the mom was just ridiculous. The first time I met her, she asked me where I had some hairspray. It was just like, hi, nice to meet you too. The whole rest of the time it was just, why aren't we drinking yet? Let's get the show on the road. It's like, it started an hour ago, and she's complaining to the bride, but fortunately the bride was super, the best bride you could ever have. She, nothing could bother her. It was her wedding day. It's the best day of her life. So fortunately it didn't bother her, but if it would have been because of her mother. Yeah. But you keep a smile on your face and you keep it rolling, and that's all you can do.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think the tough part is that we have to remember that it is the mom's day too. Mm-hmm. And so, there's kind of this battle, because it's almost like, well, this has been your daughter, even if she's 30, 40, 50, it doesn't matter, we're all still our mother's children. Right. Mm-hmm. And so this is somebody that you raised, and now it's kind of like that transition of, wow, she's really starting her own life. Yeah. She's getting married. She's not my baby so much anymore, even though she kind of always will be. Mm-hmm. So I think you have to respect the fact that that's part of what's going on with the mother too. The other part is that, she just wants things to be perfect, because not only it's her daughter's day, but then, like you said previously, Rachel, that her friends are coming. Yeah. And the family's coming, and they want people to be impressed and have a good time. So there's a lot of pressure on them being a good host, especially if they're paying for it. Yeah. Now, where I start getting a little like, you need to sit down, is when you're not paying a dime for anything. And again, it's about respecting that whole, I know it's like the transition and you're letting go, but if you're not investing in the day, really, the people who are doing that, unless they're just really hands off, take the money, do what you want, I want you to have whatever you want, that's fine. But really, you should just if it's your child's day, it's the one that they're gonna remember and have photos of, and not that you want to. So you guys know where I'm going with it. It's just it's just really, really hard. And that's sometimes where I start being like, you ain't paid for nothing, so you just sit down, be pretty, And so it gets, especially when you work hard, because we really do work really hard to make sure that everything the couple has told us that they want happens. And then you kind of have this chatter in the ear, and I know you've dealt with that on maybe more passive aggressive level.
I think it's really hard when when mothers don't realize that we are hired to work for the bride, we are hired to work for the groom, for the couple, even if the mother is the one who is paying the bills, you know, our first priority is the couple. And so when you have a mother who's making snide comments about things, and you know, that it's not helping the situation at all. It's always better to approach the situation from the mother's standpoint. If she wants something from us, she's always going to have a better job of getting it if she is polite and nice and remembers that it's not her day, it's her daughter's. It's not her day, it's her son's. As much as she loves her child, and as much as she loves her child-in-law to be, they're the ones getting married.
So how do we ease it? I mean, how do we ease it in the dress shop and on the wedding day and in the planning process? What do we do to sort of circumvent this? Because sometimes the bride will want us to play games, and I'm not really comfortable with that either. You know, I mean, you can do it to a certain extent where it's just like, just tell my mom that's what we're doing, but then the wedding day comes. I've done that before. I've made that mistake before where the bride was like, just tell my mama that we're going to do what she wants to do, and I do it. Then it doesn't happen on the wedding day, and then I have 30 minutes of the mother of the bride saying, you didn't do your job, and it's like, really I did.
Yeah,
really I did. Your daughter wanted me to do this. And that's when I ended up telling her, like, you know, your daughter changed her mind, we decided to go with this, sorry I didn't inform you. And I did take the heat, you know, and I was fine with that because I don't have to have Thanksgiving or Christmas with this lady. You know, so I just stood there and I took it, and I knew it was coming. You know, so, and I always tell my brides to forewarn me, like, if you want to blame something on me, as long as it's etiquette and it's tasteful, I don't mind taking the heat. Like, don't put no crap, tacky saying that it was, you know, it was something I wanted. Like, no, Sam did not ever want to do, you know, confetti all on the walkway or something. But, you know, but if it's something that you want, you know, just let me know in advance. So I think it's just keeping in mind that it's something that we do have to alleviate, and you know, we just work with it. So
you can always circumvent it with blistinis and alcohol.
Where's the champagne?
But I typically, like, if it happens in the bridal salon, I typically try to like diffuse it with humor a little bit, or like I'll just kind of try to, you know, like talk to the mom like kind of one-on-one and make her feel like me and her like have a, you know, a special relationship, and I'm on her team, and I'm trying to get the bride to do what she wants, kind of thing. And then the same thing with the bride, you know, and then just kind of get everybody on the same page. And for the most part, it works out. You know, in the end, because all in all, you know that the mother just wants the daughter to be happy, even though her methods to getting that may not be, you know, the best.
Gotcha. All right. Well, continue this conversation with us at dareanddevoted.com, and give us a call if you need help dealing with your MOMZILLA.